Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are blessed peace. Blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace, God. Blessed peace is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are deepest joy. Deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy. Deepest joy is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are.
Hello, I'm Joyce Kinzel. I'm a minister at the center. Please join me in prayer. Taking a nice sweet breath and recognizing there is only one power, one presence, and one principle that is fully present every waking and sleeping moment of our lives and beyond. So as we come together, knowing that we are fully connected to that presence, as we come together to sit and share the joy of celebration in this worship service, that we step out and we open our minds and hearts to new ideas and new thoughts, and that everything will flow with ease and grace, and that I bless the speaker, the musicians, the other speakers that are in this service, and that I know it flows, and that each one of us gets out of it what is ours to get out of it, and that we are all blessed always. So I simply know that in divine gratitude that I release this, knowing it is absolutely already done, and we simply say these words, and so it is. Here's today's affirmation from our Prayers of Wisdom and Vision book. Wherever I am with the One. There is no place where I end and the divine begins. I am always at home with the love of the Creator. Every aspect of my being, body, mind, and spirit is merged with the one life. And so it is.
Hello, and welcome to the weekly virtual service coming to you from the Center for Spiritual Living, Santa Rosa, California. An opportunity for us to come together to explore the spiritual teaching that gives rise to our vision of a world that works for everyone. I'm Joyce DeFala, a minister at the center, and I'm happy and honored to welcome you, whether this is your first time with us or you have been here many times before. You can always find out what's happening at the center by going to our website, www.cslsr.org, where you'll find information about the events and the classes and the groups and the spiritual practices we offer online, as well as finding a wealth of pre-recorded talks and services going back many months and years. As you can imagine, it takes quite a few people to provide these online offerings, and as well as to maintain our physical center for that day when we are able to safely come back together again. So if you would like to support what our center has to offer, both now and in the future, we welcome a donation from you, which you can do in several different convenient ways. You can mail a check to our center at 2075 Occidental Road, Santa Rosa, California, 95401. Or if you're watching on Facebook, you'll see a donate button where you can safely make a contribution. And of course, at our website, you'll see a portal for using PayPal. That website again is cslsr.org. Wherever you are, whatever time it is where you are, thank you for coming to be with us. I'm confident that somewhere in the words and the music, you'll find something meant just for you to uplift you and to encourage you on your spiritual journey. Welcome.
You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings. And with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Oh, the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry where or when or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes the deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things.
Good morning. I am Edward Viljoen, the Senior Minister at the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa, and I'm very glad to welcome you here this morning. Our theme for this week in April is Stepping Out and Stepping Up. And we are certainly doing that here at the Center because today is our very first audience, small invited audience of people sitting in the sanctuary as this recording is taking place. It's a test audience because we are practicing, we're preparing for re-entry. I think about it, it's like a test flight. So we get all of the systems right, all of the logistics right, so that when we are ready, we can begin to invite our general community. And based on the excitement in this small gathering, I can barely contain myself imagining many more of you in the room here with me. Of course, the question on so many people's minds is, when? When will it be? So here's basically how it works. We're taking the month of May to do testing. We're testing small invited audiences with the goal of getting prepared so that we can begin to invite general audiences in June. So, of course, the timeline is tentative because it's based on our ability to do everything correctly and well and safely. You can, however, be confident that we will announce our progress all the time on our website and also in our services. So you will know when it is time for you to decide if you would like to join us in person. Now, a little bit about how it will work. Advanced registration is going to be required to attend a service in person. There'll be a link on our website. Of course, the link isn't there now, so don't look for it now. A link will appear where you can make a reservation. The reservation form opens on Monday morning for the following Sunday. Now, because of safety requirements, attendance is limited. So we ask people who register, if they discover that they cannot attend a service, to cancel the reservation to make it available to somebody else who might want to. So you might say we are definitely stepping out into the unknown and stepping up our plan to get together right here in Santa Rosa, and it's exciting, and more information is coming. There's a whole lot of stepping out and stepping up going on in my life, for sure. I've got a new dog, and I've got this new role as the spiritual leader for our whole organization. And I want to tell you a little bit about what I get to do in that role. One, which is a growth point for me. One of my responsibilities is to craft statements about social issues in our world. And I have a committee that supports me in doing it. And they've got a great name, the Spiritually Motivated Social Engagement Committee. SMSE, I call them to make it easy for me to get the words out. So this committee helps me, and we write statements. For example, recently in March, International Women's Day, and the spirituality of celebrating the divine feminine. And then also we made a statement, the Centers for Spiritual Living, statement of solidarity for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in response to the increase of violence towards those communities. And then this month we put out a statement about our holy home, because Earth Day takes place in this month. And then just on this past Thursday, a statement came out reflecting on the Chauvin verdict and all of the emotions and the meaning that are emerging out of this, and also how it is pointing to the work that remains ahead of us as a society that we still need to do in order that our world might really work for everyone. As I do this work, one of the questions that comes my way from our New Thought communities is, how much of this ought we to be doing? How much should we be involved in social issues? Is it spiritual? And does social justice fit in? Does it sync with our New Thought spirituality? That's on people's mind. They don't know how to reconcile it. Just recently for the Earth Day statement, we quoted Wangari Maathai. She was a Kenyan social environmentalist and political activist, and the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize, just by the way. And we quoted her because it seems she faced the same question: what's spiritual and what's secular? Right? This is what she said: I never differentiated in my work between activities that might be called spiritual and those that might be called secular. I came to recognize that our efforts weren't only about planting trees, but were also about sowing seeds of a different sort, the ones necessary to give communities the self-confidence and the self-knowledge to rediscover their authentic voice and speak out on behalf of their rights, human, environmental, civic, and political. Now, I love that. You see, she just didn't even bother to make the distinction. She just went to plant the seeds that are yours to plant. And you hear that metaphor in our movement a lot. Planting seeds, along with the question is, what kind of seeds am I planting? And importantly for today, what makes me plant the seeds I plant? What makes me sow the seeds I sow? What compels me to do so? Our committee, the SMSE, began to explore that answer, what compels me, by asking another question. They asked the question, what is the moral imperative of our Science of Mind teaching? Isn't that a great question? What is the moral imperative of the Science of Mind? A moral imperative is that which makes us act. And what makes us act is typically connected to our highest ideals and our deepest truth. So we want to know, what are those? And how can we stay close to them when we decide what we are going to do for our world? So we're not looking for a set of rules imposed upon us by others. No, we would never settle for that. We're looking for deeply held beliefs that emerge from our spiritual study, and in this case, of the science of mind. Deeply held beliefs that guide us to act in a way that reveals the greatest good for all, so that the seeds that we sow, the seeds that we are planting, whether they are secular or spiritual or political or economic, whatever they are, that they remain in alignment with our deeply held beliefs. So in other words, we're not only asking, what is mine to do, but also, how does my faith tradition inform me, compel me, and guide me to do what is mine to do? Well, a whole bunch of questions emerge, like, for example, how will I know what is mine to do? How will I know what my values are? How will I know what my deeply held beliefs are? And the truth is, we're works in progress. And one of the pillars of our tradition is spiritual study, to keep on looking into these things. And there are some pointers we can use along the way. Feelings are a good compass to answer these questions. Those feelings that are both attracting us to something and feelings that repel us. Cause us to avoid certain things, because every time we feel that repulsion or attraction, we can know that there is something important here for me, for you. I was in a supermarket once with a friend, and we were talking about spiritual matters and this and that, and shopping, and we were really engrossed in our conversation. And as we were leaving, we walked out the door, and on one side of the exit was a person raising awareness about HIV and AIDS. On the other side of the door was a person raising awareness about animal rights and humane treatment of animals. And as we walked out, it was like a magnet pulled each one of us to the place that had heart meaning for us. And we crossed paths as each one went to the place that had the draw and the heart feeling for us. And that it made me think about that. Because what we chose to go to can't be considered right or wrong. Here's what we might consider when we're thinking about, if we want to even say right or wrong. When I don't do what is mine to do, there's something to pay attention to. When my heart is pulled to something, even with fear or nervousness or even aversion, and I avoid it and ignore it, there is something to pay attention to. When I turn my back on that which wants to happen through me because it's uncomfortable or inconvenient or whatever the reason. Now, you may know this already, but other faith traditions have got very clear guidelines on how to act in the world in accordance with faith tradition. For example, did you know Judaism has 613 moral commandments that emerge from the faith tradition? They come both in the positive form, do this, as well as the negative form, abstain from this. Some examples are, give to those who are in need. Support orphans. Don't oppress the stranger. Islam, similarly, has got very clear guidelines. Be kind and honorable to your parents, to all parents. Again, care for the orphans. Keep your promises. Be honest. And you'll notice they're so self-evident in each faith tradition that they don't need explanation. They come from deeply held beliefs. Hinduism, similarly, has got guides for what we ought to aspire to, like nonviolence, purity in thought, non-stealing, non-lying, non-possessiveness, as well as certain things to be mindful of, like overwhelming passion, be careful of that. Like anger, be mindful about that. Like greed, careful, that can cloud your thinking. Like vanity and jealousy, the things that confuse our thought and remove our clarity. Buddhism also. Refrain from taking a life. I don't even need to explain it. Refrain from taking what is not given. It doesn't need an explanation. Refrain from the misuse of your senses. Refrain from wrong speech. And refrain from, let's say, intoxicating your mind, dulling your thought. So, what in your faith system guides you in a similar way? What is the guidance that is implicit in science of mind? You know, in science of mind, we call the divine the mind of creation. We call it divine love. So we could ask, what does divine love demand of me? What does it compel me to do? So this exploration that we're doing is a work in progress, and today I want to share with you some of the early themes that are emerging from our work. We're not nearly complete, but the first imperative I noticed in our teaching is this one. And by imperative, I mean the thing that goes like this. You must do this. Not because a distant, whimsical deity demands it, but because through what I come to know about the everywhere presentness of this mind, this divinity, I realize for myself, I must do this. Here's the first one. I must maintain my mental household. I've got to keep my consciousness clean and clear. That's an imperative. You know, Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote during a troubled time in our world, during the war times, this piece that's become quite famous, and it speaks to it. He says, as never before, our thoughts, our meditations, our hopes, and our prayers must rise in one common accord. And you and I should form the habit of taking definite time each day to pray for peace with justice, for there is no peace possible without justice. We should take time each day to pray, to know, and to meditate on the thought, and to meditate affirmatively and with complete acceptance that our leaders everywhere are being guided by the all-sustaining wisdom and upheld by the all-sustaining power of good. And we should pray for the peace of our own minds, that we shall not become confused. That's the first one. I must keep my mental household clean and clear. Why? Because my mental household is where I plant the seeds of change. So I want to be mindful that I do not plant from a consciousness of confusion or competition or comparison or anger or whatever it is, because, well, also because of the consequences of being haphazard about this. So there you have it, the first imperative. Pay attention to and maintain the cleanliness of my mental household, your mental household. And then the second one that emerges. And then act accordingly. Act in alignment with your spiritual convictions. Keep it clean and then let it guide you to act. And then he quotes Jesus by saying, but faith without works is dead. I believe that was Jesus who said that. He writes this, we should not only pray, but we should also act. We should not only pray, but also act. And listen to this. This is wonderful. It is not enough merely to affirm the presence of God. Prayer is not wishing, nor is it an escape from reality. To be lost merely in our prayers might terminate in an unconscious desire to escape the activities of life. Therefore, we affirm that divine intelligence not only knows what to do, but also that it impels us to act on what we know. You see, it's in there if you look. If you look in our teaching, it's in there. There is guidance for us. Oh, and the third theme that is emerging. First of all, keep my mental household clean, and then act accordingly. And then the third one, and do it with a spirit of inclusion. It's all through our teaching. Think about this. Some of us haven't seen each other for over a year. We haven't been in the same place together. And out of that distance, I'm sure you can feel it, the appreciation for community, the longing to be included and to be together. And even my friends who are introverts are saying, I miss people. Oh my goodness, how to include. This is one of the considerations for how we open our center, reopen it in a hybrid form. How do we include the people who can't or don't want to attend in person yet? How do we make accommodations for them? And how do we include the people that we've picked up along the way through over 1 year of virtual services who now attend from other cities? We have to include. I mentioned at the beginning that I have a new dog, Quentin, the ruler of my world. Oh, he loves a good game of tug-of-war, He loves that. And the thing about it is, when we're playing, he pretends to run away with the thing in his mouth. And I noticed that he adjusts his speed of escape based on who he is playing with, because he doesn't really want to get away. He wants to include you. He wants to be caught. He doesn't want to play alone. So he wants to slow down so that slow-moving human can catch him, so that we can share the joy together. He'll even pretend to be trapped in a dead end and feign confusion and, anxiety. And it's like, he could clearly run that way, but he doesn't. He gives me the chance to be included at my pace, according to my ability. There's something in that. So, maintain my mental household, act accordingly, and include. And then the fourth one, I've been working with what is the title, what is the chapter heading of this fourth one. I think it's something like practice loving kindness. It's about the style with which we do all of the things we do. I could say it's about authenticity, or maybe it's about being nice or genuine. It's definitely about integrity. It's about letting what is inside of you as a deeply held belief come out on the outside. It's about that somehow, So ways to practice this, to practice loving kindness, are all around us, today, because all of life, and during the shelter in place, I'm sure this has been amplified, all of life is about relationship. Relationship, relationship, relationship. Relationship with the ones we love. Relationship with the ones we don't yet know how to love. Relationships with the ones we love and don't love us back the way we'd like them to. Relationship with those whose differences dismay us. And how to bring loving kindness into that. In our Science of Mind tradition, divine love in us demands that we practice loving kindness. It's an imperative. It demands that we express it in ourselves as a way of expressing the thing itself, through the way we relate to each other. Oh, some of the ways I'm working with relationships and bringing loving kindness into play, I'm learning from Kevin and his therapeutic training. Number one, approach everything with curiosity and not as a know-it-all. He may or may not have said that to me. Or this one, have a forgiving disposition. Or how about this one? Practice making generous assumptions about others. Dang. Listen more. Or this one, make the connection before the correction. I've always loved that phrase. So there it is. Practice loving kindness. And then the final one in this short beginner list is this. And while you're doing all of these things, ask for guidance. Ask for directions. Why? Because through my intuitive connection to the great all that is, I have access to a mind that is way beyond my human understanding. Because through your intuitive nature, you are connected to a source of wisdom beyond the know-how that you currently have, beyond your current understanding. There is it's famous now, a famous line in one of Ernest Holmes' prayers that is just wonderful. It's a surprise. Are you ready? Let me not pursue the paths of my own counsel. Isn't that wonderful? But instead, and we go back to the beginning, maintain your mental household. But instead, let me take time daily to tune into the mind that creates all. And I know in reality, we are always tuned into it. We can't escape it. And yet sometimes things will distract me from it. And I will live in the world as if it's not there. Great example. When we have a class and all the students come in all busy and rowdy, and we say, let us take a moment, and you hear everybody, and they breathe in, and we call it centering or whatever it is. And in just a moment, the whole room shifts, and a stillness emerges. Well, it was always there, but it had been hidden, obscured, by the activity and the attention to other things. And that's what we are talking about. Where was that stillness before? And how can I develop a relationship with that which is always present, divine love? How can I come back to it and back to it and back to it? And that's the fifth idea, how to develop a relationship with that peace that persists always. So here's the summary of the emerging themes, and there are more. We haven't even touched on forgiveness and so on. Maintain your mental household, and then act in alignment with your spiritual convictions, and do it in a spirit of inclusion as well as practice loving kindness, and be certain to seek guidance by developing a mindful awareness of the peace that is always present. Of course, there is more, and I will share the more with you as we develop it. Now, before we close in prayer, I want to say if you enjoy what you are learning at the Center for Spiritual Living and you would like to have a closer relationship as a member of our community, whether you are here in person in Santa Rosa, Sonoma County, or listening to us virtually online, I invite you to attend our membership orientation, which takes place today at 1 p.m. You can register on our website, and there is no charge for it. And if you do, you will receive all the information we think is necessary for you to be able to decide if membership in our center is right for you. And besides, it's a fun time, and I'm looking forward to seeing those of you who have already registered at 1 o'clock today. And so I'd like to close now with the spiritual mind treatment from our prayers of wisdom and vision for this day, April 25th. So I invite you to breathe in with me and to exhale. There is one life. That life is spirit. That life is whole, perfect, and complete. It is infinite, eternal, and everywhere present. Its unlimited intelligence is 100% available to me in every moment as endless new possibilities. I am made of this divine stuff. It is the substance and foundation of my being. It creates, acts, and unfolds through me. I am made new by it in each moment. I am an expression and an instrument of the divine, inseparable from its activity. I live and have my being within the divine. From this understanding, I speak for and about myself and for all. Boundless potential is right where I am. I welcome a reconfiguring of my life with a deeper trust in the unlimited expression of good in ways known and unknown, seen and unseen. Infinite intelligence and creativity expresses through me, and I accept a growing awareness of my intuition as a guide through change. I am willing to be at peace with the known and the unknown. And so I let go. I let go gently of the past, and I trust in divine wisdom to create my life anew in this and in each moment. With a grateful heart, I rest in this spiritual truth. It is already known, and it is already done in the mind of spirit. And that is why I say, and so it is.
Hello, I'm Tara Steele, Community Minister here at the Center. I'd like to share with you a few ways to get involved with our spiritual community. This afternoon, there are two special opportunities to learn more about how our center operates and our teachings. First is a new member orientation class hosted by Dr. Edward and staff. It's this afternoon at 1 p.m. It's a time for you to learn more about how the center works, as well as what membership means. At the end of the class, you can decide whether or not to become a member. Please go to our website to register in advance. Also this afternoon, you can learn about Advanced Spiritual Living, an 8-month class for those wanting to learn more about science of mind, as well as for those called to become prayer practitioners. Come to our online tea, Things Everyone Asks, which starts at 1:15 p.m. Early bird discount for summer classes continues. The Zoom meeting format provides a remarkable sense of connection with other class participants. Visit the Classes tab on our website for details. Though we are not yet able to gather at the center, there are several ways to be in community with each other. Tomorrow, Reverend Joyce Kinzel invites you to join her in a conversation about being an elder. The third act starts at 1:30 p.m. on Zoom. This Friday, our monthly World Peace Meditation is at 7 p.m. And Circles for Spiritual Connection are small groups that meet each week to discuss the Sunday talk. They are currently welcoming new members to join the ongoing groups. Today, as every service Sunday, you are invited to connect with one of our prayer practitioners for after-service prayer, a free, confidential prayer session where the practitioner will assist you in discovering the truth of who you are. To receive prayer, leave at the end of this broadcast and go to the special link for after-service prayer. Thank you again for being here. You are an important part of our community. Blessings.
SAVES would like to thank the Center for Spiritual Living for supporting us. SAVES is a nonprofit organization based out of Santa Rosa that helps the unsheltered community throughout Sonoma County. Every week, we cook hundreds of hot meals for people who don't have homes. Many of those meals are cooked by volunteers from the Center for Spiritual Living. SAVES outreach workers, Cheryl and Jackie, bring these meals to the street and deliver them into the hands of people who need hot meals the most.
The food that she brought today was absolutely wonderful.
Making the food. Thank you very much. Great job.
It's really good.
He ate mine, half of mine, and his. Hey, thank you guys. We appreciate it. It's good.
Along with hot meals, SAVES outreach workers provide homeless individuals with much needed supplies, like hygiene products, clothes, tents, backpacks, and bus tickets, among many other things. We connect them with community services and help them get into housing. And we provide a friendly face and a compassionate ear for people who are so often ignored by society.
They're great. Nothing more you could say.
In addition to all this, SAVES is working to establish safe parking programs in the county, and we are developing plans for a tiny village. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living, for your ongoing support.
I'm here to remind you of your magnificence, to help you awake to all the wonder that you are. I long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. I'm here to remind you how much you're truly loved. You're here to remind me of my magnificence, to help me awake to all the wonder that I am. You long to show me all the joy I'm worthy of. You're here to remind me how much I'm